In the most recent Baki Rahen chapter, we got the return of Hanayama to the story, doing what he always does, the ultimate Giga Punch. But you may be questioning, who is he actually fighting? Is this a new character? No, it is someone from early Baki, the first manga series known as Grappler Baki, one of the first antagonists in the entire series. He goes by the name Hanada, and I believe he was one of Motobe's students in the early days of Baki. However, he got destroyed by the likes of Mount Toba before Baki got a chance to fight him, meaning he hasn't really been relevant for some time, and it looks like he got a huge buff in power after all this time. He's probably done little side things here and there throughout the Baki series, but nothing really major since the early days, which is pretty crazy. This brings us back to the claimed meaning of Baki Rahen according to this mad lad. The people related or around Baki, which implies the manga will be focusing on pretty much every character in the Baki series, with the return of the cord cut and him having a match set up against Jack Hanma, and now the return of this guy. I think it's pretty safe to say we're going to get a lot of character returns throughout this manga. Maybe we're finally going to get Ali Jr. return, perhaps the prisoners or other characters from the early days of Baki, maybe even someone like Yu, the guy Yujiro brought to the maximum tournament and got a lot of hype as someone who actually slapped Yujiro during that arc. However, he did kind of get destroyed by Doppo and of course what Yujiro did to him as well, but I'm very excited. If you haven't already, consider joining the Discord. The chapter links for the raws and translations are posted there when they come out. 7,000 members and counting, I'd love to see you there. And of course, consider subscribing for more Baki content, it's greatly appreciated. Let's break down the entire chapter now. Hanayama pulling up as badass as ever, looking like he's ready to go straight away. I'm not sure who's actually the one challenging one another. I get the sense that it isn't Hanayama, as he doesn't really go out of his way to challenge more so lesser or weaker characters in the series. The only real time we've seen Hanayama go out of his way to challenge someone was really against Yujiro at the start of the Musashi arc, so I'm guessing it's Hanada who actually wanted to fight Hanayama here. And let's break down the exchange. It begins with Hanayama throwing a kick that actually slices his face a little bit, and this kick seemed far too clean for the likes of Hanayama, someone who really doesn't use techniques. I've seen some people already talk about Hanayama using a kick and how this is his first time. No, all the way back in Grappler Baki during the Maximum Tournament and some of his other fights, he has been shown using kicks, but not in the same way as this. It seems more refined and honestly more skilled like than anything really seen from Hanayama in the entire series, so maybe he has been training more. Of course, it is controversial to say Hanayama does train. My basis is these panels in the Musashi Miyamoto arc. We have Yujiro claiming that he secretly trains, and then these panels were dropped in his fight against Musashi. Of course, these could be mistranslations, we don't exactly know. Probably when the anime adaptation comes out for the arc, we'll fully have an understanding of whether Hanayama actually does train. But based on everything we've seen and my understanding, Hanayama has been training in recent times, meaning he's getting stronger. Maybe him throwing this very clean kick is a demonstration of this. Regardless, the big move comes out next, the Almighty Punch, which once again leaves his opponent stunned. An attack in the series that seems to leave most characters pretty much fear hacks. They just sit there and wait for the punch to land. However, not this time. It looked like he was actually stunned at first, but he's able to dodge the attack last second and slam Hanayama into the ground. As I mentioned at the start of the video, a huge buff for another character. The cord cutter was able to injure Doppo. Now this guy was able to slam Hanayama on the ground and not get 100% fear hacks by his crazy build-up punch. Without a doubt, this didn't do really any damage to Hanayama, one of the biggest tanks in the entire series. I wonder if this fight is actually going to continue for a few chapters. I'm guessing if Hanayama does get a hold of him, it's probably over. I hope it does actually continue and get a conclusion, not just Hanayama getting up being like, oh, you've improved, and then going away, and then we go back to the Jack stuff. Even though I want to see Jack, Hanayama is my second favorite character in the entire series. Jack may be number one, but Hanayama hasn't really had a lot of shine since really the Musashi Miyamoto arc. Yes, he had his sumo fight which he destroyed and was pretty badass, and we got all of the stuff about his connection to sumo in the past and how he could potentially be the greatest sumo of all time if he trained in that fashion from a young age or was dedicated to it in a way due to him simply being built different. All that was cool, but I still want more from Hanayama, even though we do have his side mangas as well. If you haven't checked those out, definitely do. But Hanayama having a role in the main story and having a fight against Jack is one of the main things we want in the future of the story. Jack and Hanayama haven't really had an interaction in the entire series that I can actually recall. Hanayama is pretty much the best friend of Baki, and of course Jack is his brother. He didn't get called out by Jack mainly due to him not being in the arena when he took out Sukune. Similar to the likes of the cord cutter, he wasn't in the arena and he's more so challenging Jack to a degree, or pretty much the old man doing his type of thing, setting up various matches. If Hanayama was to approach the old man and say he wants to fight Jack, we will definitely get it. But I get the sense he's more someone who just outright pulls up on Jack and they end up fighting in the street, which would be perfect considering both of their characters, and I would love to see that. Of course, I do think Jack would win due to his fighting style, but Hanayama has definitely gotten crazy strong, having one of the best performances against Musashi, and is without a doubt a monster in the Bukiverse now, especially if he's getting stronger, if he is in fact training. But even if he isn't, he seems like a character who naturally gets stronger in the same vein as Yujiro. This is pretty much revealed at the start of the Musashi arc in the Yujiro and Hanayama exchange, where Yujiro claims that Hanayama is like him, someone born with strength, which means he should be someone who progressively gets stronger and stronger without really doing much, and that has been shown since the early days of Baki with Hanayama. If he is training as well, that just enhances that growth even more. Hanayama could be one of the most dangerous fighters in the entire series now. However, considering what Hanada was able to do to him here, that isn't really looking too good regardless of everything. He is someone who got destroyed by literally Mount Toba, who could return for all we know in the story as well, but he should be quite old now, so maybe not. But I'm enjoying Baki Rahen so far. Every chapter has been peak. I believe the next one after this is confirmed to be coming out in around 2 weeks, so not next week unfortunately, but in 2 weeks. Can't wait for that. Stay tuned for more content, of course. Can't wait for more of the top tier fighters to challenge one another, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know if you think Jack and Hanayama are going to fight in the future of the story, and whether or not you think Jack's going to take some of his fingers. I definitely do. And of course your thoughts on this chapter as a whole. There's still so much potential for the future of the story and the future of this arc. Who knows what's going to happen? Perhaps the long awaited alien invasion will actually occur. Maybe I'm joking, maybe I'm not, who knows. Check out the other stuff in the description. Shout out to these Patreon mad lads. That's it guys. Peace.